Welcome our viewers to another episode of Achievements. I'm your host Abdul Latif Al-Nizi, and tonight joining me my colleague Fatma Al-Awadi. Good evening, Fatma.
Good evening, Abdul Latif. Yes, dear viewers, we have a new story today and a new guest. We can't wait to share their story with you, so please stay tuned after this break.
A successful identity is built on things a person has done. Your most important accomplishments are a very important way for you to measure your success. Colleagues, competitors, and the general public can look at a person's achievements to figure out how successful they are. Most of the time, putting in a lot of work pays off. Most people think a successful life is one of a lot of things to be proud of. When you finish a task, you win over problems or other people. Achieve means to work together to reach a hard and challenging goal. Everyone should be ready to help out and work together if they need to. There are many ways to reach your goal, but in the end, it's up to you to decide how it will pay out in your life. In their careers, some people want to get rich and will be well known. Some people think that even small victories are reasons to have a party. We're all different, so we all have our own thoughts on everything. In the end, though, everyone wants to be happy, and everything you do in life will help you to get closer to that ultimate goal.
Welcome back our dear viewers. Today we have the privilege of hosting Mubarak Al-Anizi, an extraordinary individual with a decade of experience in various business roles and a deep commitment to education. Mubarak, thank you for being with us at Achievements. We are so glad to have you and to know more about your role and your passion.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much, Mubarak, and we're very happy you're here. Now, before we start with the questions, I just have a personal question for you.
Okay.
Why education?
First, thank you to be a guest in your program, and thank you to give me this chance to talk about something may can help our students. We are talking about the education. So it's something obvious that it's important to focus on education for our students and how to find the important methods or develop methods to improve the education to help our students. So there are many methods, ways, to develop this communication between the teacher or the educator and the student.
Of course. And this actually makes one of the reasons that you chose to be a teacher?
Yes, exactly. This is one of the reasons, to take care of the students, and what I'm saying that education is not just a transformation of knowledge, a data or information. It's not transforming. So it's more than this process.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the role of the teacher is more than giving information. You know that we have now the technology, so it's very easy to get any information if you just do research. So you can find anything that in any industry or any scientific information, historical information. So it's very easy. But the role of educator or the teacher is more than this.
Still, yeah, and will never be lesser than the technology, because for a lot of time we get the information that I want from, like, let's say the research engines, but still I need more information. I need short information, and I will never get it. Like, let's say one upon a time I was a little bit sick, so I needed a medicine. So I searched in Google what's the best medicine, but I cannot do that. Still, I have to talk to the pharmacist, and he was the educator at that moment to me. But getting back to you, Mr. Mubarak, tell us about your wonderful background and how it's enriched and how it's influenced you to become what you are today, especially with your field.
Yes, so I teach social studies or Islamic history to middle school, and also I teach business and finance to high school. So of course it's different ages, and in every let's say grade they have a specific personality, and there is a specific way to deal with this age. So it's totally different, of course. But as I said, if you are a real educator, you can find a way, okay, to communicate with this age. So, like for example, let's talk about the middle school students. It's not about to give them the historical information or the historical,
The background of history, for example.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So you need to teach them the values of Islam, for example, as we are teaching Islamic history. So we should give them the values that they can use in their community, how to make good relationship with their families, with their friends. Okay, so they supposed to use these values in real life. It's not a theory to study only, no. It's something that they should apply it in their communication, their relationship. If we are talking about business and finance, so we are preparing these students to college. Okay, so we need to focus on the practical and the workplace activities, for example, so we can give them, the skills, how they gonna work in their near future. And actually we are teaching in business and finance the basics of business, for example, the basics of finance, but also we give them the basics of how to make your decision. So this is very important to make your decision, like we help them. How can you decide exactly for example, the major that you're going to study
In college.
in college?
Yeah.
Okay. How can you decide the time of starting your own business? So the making decision skills is very important. So that's why we are teaching them these type of skills.
So if you are talking about the student development, again, we want to know about your commitment to the student development, because what is your approach or your method in making the students think for themselves?
Okay, so the two important things is to apply the trust and respect between the teacher and the students. So when that students believe that the teachers take care of me, and this is the trust and there is respect in this relationship, so I believe the students are going to make this teacher as a role model. About the approach and methods that we can use in classroom, so you are talking about workplace activities. So this type of classwork, we give the students a real job. Like for example, we can give them like to be a head of marketing department or a head of HR. So we give them this job and make them play this role in real in class. So, and we give them a case, and we let the students to try to solve this case or this issue. So in this age it's very important and very helpful, okay?
It is.
When the students has this type of skills. So in younger ages, it is very good for the students to develop these type of skills.
So important. It will
Yeah.
actually make them more ready for the job after they get
Yes,
to
and
college.
also how to deal with finances, and we always encourage schools to have certain programs, whether private or public schools, but you need to have certain programs to teach the students who are about to graduate how to maintain for example, their future salary, how to divide your
important.
needs and wants and all of that. As adults, we learn that along the way, but
From
for
the
students,
experience.
yes.
Yeah, when it comes to at the half of the month and you're already broke, okay, and you don't have like anything, you say, okay, the next month I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yes,
to
we need
separate
education
everything.
for that, yes.
Yeah, we need that.
Yes, and this is exactly what we are teaching our students. We
Mashallah.
are teaching
Wonderful.
them personal finance skills.
Yes.
Okay, so the students, they can understand the meaning of personal finance and how to develop these skills, so they can know how to manage their money in this young age. Okay, so it's not too late, because maybe we get the skills, but after we get a job or after we take a loan, for example, so it's too late. But when you in this age and you are in high school and you have the skills, so I believe that gonna be very important for them and can help them in the beginning of their life, real life after school, after they graduate.
Right.
And also we do something, I think it's effective we take the students to field trip.
Nice.
Yes, I remember like last year, I took my students to the stock market of Kuwait. And the people there, they did a good job in explaining the process,
the
Yes,
process
the
of
process.
investing in stocks. So it's totally different, okay, when you are studying something in classroom, but when you go there and you see exactly how it works, and the people who work really there in this place, they can explain better than the teacher anyway. So they
Because
can,
of experience.
because
Yes.
of the experience, of course. So that's why actually I make sure to take my students in every semester to a field trip.
That's amazing.
Different, okay.
Practical
field trip.
approach.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's amazing. We need practical
We
approach.
need that,
Yes.
yeah. But also the interaction where from the teacher to the students to the parents of the students is actually something crucial and way important than a lot of people might think. So my question is, how do you make this perfect environment for the students to become more capable to take the important informations? Because especially after, like, let's say 15 to 20 minutes, the students start to get bored, start to get sleepy, start to get dizzy, and this is actually from experience that all of us had. And so how
You
do you
get
make
bored
the
in
environment-
classrooms?
I got not bored, but most of my classrooms were like 1 hour and a half. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, my
So,
brain
yes.
cannot handle it, and I was like in middle school. So how do you do that to make this perfect environment for them?
Yes, for the middle school students, I believe in the group work. Okay, we make them to discuss, for example. We can use like specific methods in coloring, for example, or types of games. So I think this can keep the students active.
It's
Okay.
like
Brilliant.
a break.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
brilliant.
Yes, so we keep them move, okay,
Yes.
in the class, so they can, communicate with each other as in working in teams. So this, I think, can be the students active more than, the traditional way of teaching. Okay, so I can show them the information and just tell them that this is what happened in 100 years ago. But when you, like, as I said, give them a very good type of classwork, okay, like the teamwork, group work. So I think this can very helpful in keep them active. If we are talking about the high school students, I think they are, they have the skills to make discussion. Actually, I like to discuss with them. We have smart students in Kuwait.
MashaAllah.
And
Yes.
yes, actually, their language is very good. So I think it's very nice when I discuss with them basics in business. And actually, they give me some ideas. Okay, sometimes they, give me nice ideas in how to start their own business and their skills. So that's why actually I believe that we can make brilliant students.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mr. Mbarak, we still have more to talk about, but we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Mbarak Al-Anizi is a passionate entrepreneur with 10 years of experience in various aspects of business functions like accounting, marketing, management, and customer services. Mbarak is also an English and business studies teacher with strong commitment to students' development and learning experience. He's a social studies teacher with a high ambition to teach and educate middle school students the valuable culture and human values. Mbarak enjoys interacting with students, parents, and other staff. Mbarak has managed to earn his bachelor's degree from the United Kingdom. He has worked very hard and has always been focused on his goals and targets. He is a hard-working teacher that is passionate in his career. Mbarak is also special with his skills and techniques that he follows in order to accomplish his main targets and deliver the lesson smoothly. He has attended several workshops and seminars in order to improve his knowledge in his career. Mbarak is very experienced in teaching. He has taught English social studies, Islamic history to middle school students. He has also taught introduction to business, finance, and economics for high school students. Mbarak You are unique and special in your own way. Your teaching techniques have made you a teacher every student would wish for. We wish you continued success in your career.
Welcome back, our dear viewers, as we continue our interview with our dear guest, Mubarak Al-Anazi. Mr. Mubarak, could you tell us more of the methods that you use and the techniques that inspire the kids, especially when you give them the classes?
Yes, so as I said, is one of the practical or the classwork that we can use in classroom is we try to make them use the theories of business or the basics of business in real life. So that's why we give them case studies. We try to make them use the critical thinking reading. Okay, so we give them the passage or the case study when they read. Okay, so they have to find the issue and try to solve it. This is how to be a leader in the future, and this is how to have the skills of management. So this is how to help our students, okay, in as I said, the practical, or to develop the practical skills.
Wow. And this comes also from experience. And now we want to shift our focus or our conversation to your personal development when it comes to teaching or your career development. However, can you please tell us why you chose, we were talking before we started this episode, you
Yes.
chose English literature?
Yes,
Right?
my major is, yeah.
Yes, could you
English.
please talk about why you chose that and how you transferred that to teaching finance and Islamic history?
Yes, so English literature is just one major if we want to, if I study only English literature, so we are talking teaching English language, ELA. But actually I have also interest in business, so that's why I chose the double major. So, and I believe that there is no like opposite between business and
I agree with you.
and English
Yes.
literature, because this is the language, okay, and this is the skills.
Yes,
So if you
both
connect,
practical.
yeah, and you know that in language we have different types of academic language, for example. So the language of medicine, the language of
Business.
engineer, of
the language of
business.
academia. Yeah.
Exactly. So they have every type of language. It has, you know, a specific terms. Not everyone can understand what is that terms or what is that concept.
Exactly.
Okay, like for example, if we are teaching business and my students, before I teach them, if you ask them like what's meaning of income statement or what's meaning of balance sheet, this is one of the statement, okay, the financial statement. But after they finish the course, and if you ask them what's meaning of balance sheet or income statement, of course they're gonna define it. The same thing of, for example, what's meaning of stakeholders or shareholders or stocks or shares. So all of these things, we can learn it during our class. And if we go back to the main point, that the language in every industry, if we
Right.
are talking about engineering, medicine.
Medicine.
So this is what I believe in my double major or in my degree, that there is no any opposite or difference between business and English literature.
I
and this
agree.
is what I'm telling my students to do.
I agree. And you can see how happy I am. He's talking about
Yeah.
teaching and English literature because I'm an English literature major and I teach English. So I also, if you don't mind, I want to
It's
ask
okay.
this question.
It's okay. I see the excitement that you are in.
Oh, thank
I
you
actually
very
love
much.
it.
You're the best. Thank you.
You're
Now, if you can talk about the practical approach of teaching Islamic history, they have to practice it, right? And then business, they also have to practice it.
Exactly.
Was that a common thing that you thought of, or was it just a coincidence? Because you said, I want to teach them how to act on, the Islamic part or the Islamic history, and I want to teach the high schoolers how to act when it comes to business. So it's
Yes.
all about practical.
Yeah, of course, because my approach is not, reading the theories or the, let's say, the terms or defining it only. We have to teach our students how to use anything that they learn in their real life. Okay, so this is the main point of teaching them. We are preparing them for the community, to be leaders, to be managers, doctors. So this is why we need to focus on their skills, their personality.
Right.
Of course, we have to build the good personality in our students. And the Islamic history, of course,
Build
when
that.
we are teaching them the values of for example, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or if you are talking about the companions, so they have to take the good things that they learned in their life, and they also use it as Muslim in
Yes.
their community.
Yes.
So this is also something in every life, as a practical thing.
Yeah, and it's I think it's one of the most important things in during also when we were in school. This is actually one of the subjects that we loved, and many of the lessons that I got I still remembered. And I think that because the lesson was good, the subject was better, but what's most makes me get the information is actually the educator.
Yes, the
And
teacher
exactly.
always makes a difference.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, because many of years when we were in school, actually many subjects we hated because the teacher was actually sometimes be mean, sometimes be crucial, and especially in our generation. So, but of course, for you personally, you actually have this various of fields that you got during your journey that you are teaching. I mean, you have this background in English literature. You have the background in Islamic history, mashallah, and also in business. This is actually something really important. But when you got into business, how much it enriched your career, and which type of lessons that you get to the students more about the financial balance that they have to get in their classrooms?
Yeah, if you are asking me about like my own experience.
Your own experience, and also the lessons that you try to give the kids on their classrooms.
Yes, so if we are talking about the experience of, like for example, I worked as, HR manager, and I worked as accountant, so I played a different role of business functions. So this helped me how to really teach my students, it's not, as I said, it's not about transferring the information, but when I have this experience, actually I want to transfer the real picture to them, how to play a role in a specific, department, like in marketing or in administration, accounting and finance.
Right.
So this is how to, teach the students.
So I have really important question. So you've been a manager, as you mentioned from before, right? So you didn't seek for the money, you seek for teaching the students. Why is that?
Actually, I see my personality in education and teaching.
In education, but also as a manager, HR manager, you can profit more money than being a teacher in a school, right? As everyone knows. So why did you want it to be a teacher in the first place then?
Yeah, as I said, actually I like to be an educator, and teaching students. Actually, I find myself when I, teach these students and I take care of them.
Yes.
So this is my happiness there.
Wow.
How to, teach these students, because I believe that if I make a real good personality, if I make the students understand how to make a good relationship with their family, with their friends, actually this is my succeed. This is how I succeed, and this is my success. How to make a real good member of the community in the future.
That's amazing.
And this is how to, if you make this students trust you and see you as a real model. And actually, if you are talking about the parent, for example, parent and teacher are actually, they are playing
almost the same role.
Exactly, yes. So if they cooperate, the parent and the teacher, to take care of the kid. So I believe that we can develop education in Kuwait.
Yes.
If we make this communication. And actually, we really communicate with the parents, and we make sure that we give the parents the negative skills or the negative things in his kid, for example, in personality or in academic level. The same thing, we have to give them the positive. So you can't keep telling them only the positive things, because if it's positive, so it's good. So we don't need to discuss about the positive.
Yes, exactly.
But we have to find out about the negative points in his personality, in his academic level, so we can improve it, we can improve the skills. This is how to help the parent.
Yes.
So we can't say that, like, you know, some of the teachers, they only give the positive points in
They
the students.
need to know about
Yes.
the downside that they have already, because they cannot fix it until they know it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you have to be honest with the parent.
Yes.
Okay, this is how to solve any issue or problem with the students.
But also
okay?
many times the parents be a little bit, they don't wanna get, no, my son is perfect. My son doesn't have any flaws in his academic journey, of course. But they have to know that everyone, no one is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one perfect.
No
Yes,
one's perfect.
yes.
Yeah.
But Mr. Mubarak, your vision and your approach to teaching is impeccable. I have to commend you for that. Now, my next question is, how do you see yourself or your role as developing the students' minds and the education in Kuwait? We were talking about that before. So you mentioned that you wanted to talk more about the education and how we better the education here. Can you please tell us more about that?
Yes. So actually, we are using the traditional way of teaching, but we can't keep using the same methods and ways every time. So if you keep doing the same thing in classroom, okay, of course you're gonna make the students feel boring and, you know, not keep interesting in the class or about the subject. So you have to try new things every time when you enter your classroom. So you should try to find methods. For example, you can, now the technology is, you know, it's one of the developed methods that we can use.
Of course.
Okay, so it's very important to use technology, okay, in classroom. So we can show them, for example, a specific, you know, video or, you know, picture. We try to develop these skills. Like, for example, sometimes I start with my class to show them a picture and tell them, like, for example, describe for me this picture. So we try to attract the ideas that they have in their mind. Also, we can develop the, you know, the skills of describing things. Okay, so, and you know that we have differentiation, okay, in classroom.
Yeah,
we have different personalities. We are not dealing with one person. Minimum we have
more than 20.
Exactly, 20 and maybe 20 to 25 students, 25 persons. So of course they have different mind, different personality, different skills, different academic.
goals. Yes.
So you have to tailor it, really being careful with that.
Yes, how do you tailor it?
And this is how to be. Like, for example, in tests or in quizzes, sometimes, actually all the time, we put different type of questions. We have, let's say, the grade level of the students, A student's question, B student's question, and so on. So we have different level of questions. So we can cover all the level of the students.
That's amazing.
Okay, so you can't like put a difficult questions, all difficult questions or hard questions, and we put all easy questions. So it is, for example, not, you know, it's unfair for the A+ students, and also if we make it hard, so it's not fair or unfair for the, you know, the, let's say, the B student.
The
or
average
C
student.
The
Okay.
average student.
So your goal here, and I don't know if you agree with me, but your goal is to teach and not to get the highest grade. So it's not about me as a student, I'll get the highest grade in your class, but you want me, the student, to get the most information, the most pieces of
Yeah.
information
The knowledge.
out of your class. So that's your goal, that's your aim.
Exactly.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah,
It's actually
especially when you give them different lessons in one classroom. Sometimes they ask you about something different, or sometimes you see that they are missing something in their life, in their personal life. So you get them more ready for that. As we just mentioned at the start of the interview, when you were helping them to get more ready for college. I mean, it wasn't your job for that, but it was from the goodwill that you have inside your heart, Mr. Mubarak, that you wanted to give them that, which makes it more special. But also, can you tell us about how do you try to instill the cultural awareness inside them, and how do you want to give them the most valuable lessons that will help them in their real life?
Yeah, so as I said, if you make the good relationship with the students and they start trusting the teacher or the educator, So of course they gonna tell you like anything that their issue. They start to talk about their problems, the you know, the negative things in their life. So so the students are coming every day in your class. You have to feel in the students, and you have to take care of him, because sometimes we have tough days. We don't know what's happening in with the family or with the friends.
Exactly.
Some of the students, they you know, the bullying
It
Right.
things.
affects a lot.
Yeah. So of course what happened with the students, of course, can affect the motivation of the students to study, to come to class, to
Right.
come to school. You know, we don't want to keep the students, or you know, ignore the students, or what exactly the feeling of the students till he lose his motivation to come to school. We have to take care of the students and to make sure that that will not happen in school, in classroom. This is
Yes.
actually the responsibility of the teacher.
That's
Yes.
important.
Okay, he can't ignore any bullying. Okay, so also you can't, like for example, only punish the students who start the bullying. Okay, but you have to be, you know, as a father, you know, you have to take care of both of them.
Right.
Also actually with the young ages. Okay, so
Perfect.
you can't just, you know, punish the students, and the punishment is not actually one solution. So you have the students who start the bullying, he must understand, okay, why he must stop doing this. Because if, like I can tell him, like for example, put yourself in his shoes. So
Right.
do you agree that if
They will
if
actually
someone-
laugh at you
Exactly.
at that
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's actually a lesson that they get from the family, and I don't think that bullying will be the solution will be on the hands of the teacher or the educator. I think it's the hands.
It's also
of
the, I
the
mean,
family.
yes,
I mean,
both
it's cooperated
the,
work.
yes, that's
Yeah.
what Mr. Mubarak said, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Mubarak, unfortunately, our episode this fast had come to an end. We had more and more questions, especially Fatma. I can see that in her eyes.
Yes, we need another interview actually, yes.
Thank you very
Definitely,
much.
Yes.
definitely. But
Thank
before we finish, do you have one last thing to say to our dear viewers, to also their parents?
Actually, thank you very much to be here, okay, to invite me
You're welcome.
in this program, and to give me this chance, okay, to actually to talk about, as I said, the most important thing for me is education and our students in Kuwait, and I hope that actually I wish all the best to all the students in Kuwait.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mubarak. Dear viewers, we were with Mr. Mubarak Ranizi, an educator, and we want to continue with his story, but unfortunately we have come to the end of our episode. We will see you on other episodes. Stay tuned with us, and goodbye.
Goodbye.